Hello YouTube! Welcome back, I'm Dom. Welcome to La Patata. I am a professional ex-weed smoker trying to share my experiences. How are you doing? I hope you're all okay. Welcome back to everyone that's been following so far. And welcome to the newcomers. So, what's the status right now? I think it's been something like almost 50 days that I've quit smoking weed. This channel exists because I want to increase awareness around the fact that weed is a drug and it does create addiction. And so if you're in a hard place, or you know someone that's in a difficult place, or you want to quit and you don't have the courage, I hope that my videos will help you do that. So let's just jump into the topic of today's video. First off, the format's different. The video quality is a lot shittier. There's no microphone, so our audio is also probably bad. But my girlfriend's sleeping in the other room. I was still wanting to record a video, so here I am doing it on my laptop with this shitty quality. I guess it doesn't matter really. The content is what matters. You're probably going to be happier by not seeing me in HD anyway. I don't think I'm HD. I deserve HD quality, so this is fine. The important thing is that the message gets through, and the message is, I love you, you should love yourself, and we should all love ourselves, and we should all be happy with what we've got, and we should all try and make ourselves better day by day, and you know, all that kind of shitty rhetoric kind of stuff. So, today I want to speak to those people that have decided to quit and have realized that they have too much time on their hands. So when I stopped smoking, the biggest struggle for me immediately, this was as soon as I stopped smoking, the first few days, maybe I should take one step back. I quit smoking because I felt that smoking weed was holding me back. It was something that was causing me to procrastinate. It was causing me to avoid facing my problems. It was causing me, to like hide myself behind the persona that I'd created, the pothead, the stoner stereotype. So I'd realized that if I wanted to change, if I wanted to become a better person, the only way for me to do that was to actually quit smoking. And so when I quit smoking, the first thought that started coming to my head was, okay, you had all these things you wanted to do. Why aren't you doing them now? What were all these things? And I seriously didn't know what to do with myself. And I started thinking, okay, so maybe I should have just continued smoking then. Maybe I didn't have all these things I wanted to do. Maybe I was just tricking myself into thinking that weed was the problem, but I'm really the problem. And that's partially true. Part of the truth is that weed will solve your problems, will partially solve your problems, but it won't solve all of the problems. My cat is going crazy in the background. Lino. Let's see if he wants to join us for this video. But I found myself with a lot of free time. I didn't know what to do with the free time. And I've hung out a lot on the subreddit Leaves, where there's a lot of people that will help you out if you are deciding to quit and stuff. But one big advice that people give, and that I'm giving you now, is read a book. Read a book, read a book, read a book. And when you finish the book, read another book. It's easy to lose yourself in a book. It's a good investment of your time. It might, if you're like me, it's going to take you ages to find the right book. I can pick up 10 books and not like any of them. But on my 11th book, I'm going to love it and I'm going to read it in 4 days. The first few days it was hard. It would take me a lot longer to read. And I haven't read in ages. So one of the first books I read was American Gods, which is a massive book. And someone recently wrote on YouTube that they read it in 4 days, and I really hated that someone, to be honest, because I wish I could read a book in 4 days. And now I kind of can. I'm dedicating myself to that. I'm having fun doing it. I'm using this website called Goodreads to track the books I'm reading and the books I want to read and kind of get reviews and figure out, if you put in the books that you've read, it gives you recommendations, and I found a few good books from that. Right now, I'm reading a book, I can't remember what it's called. I finished reading Deep Work by Cal Newport. Highly recommend that book. It's totally changing my work life. It's really a lot of things that I already thought about, and I'm turning into like a routine freak. If you haven't seen it already, I have a video about defining a morning routine. And now I have a shutdown routine for when I end work, and I'm starting to add all these routines because what I'm realizing is having routine and having habits just takes stress away. It gives you one less thing to think about every day, one less decision, one less, a bit less effort, a bit less willpower needed every day. It's just everything becomes a habit, and you get used to doing the right things rather than getting used to doing the bad things. But yeah, in short, my advice is read a book. Get a book, go into your local library store, spend half a day there. I've started really like just hanging out in the library, in the bookstore. Just hanging out in the bookstore. You go there, or in the library. You don't have to buy books. I have a Kindle, so what I usually do is I go to the library, check out the books, and then when I find a book I like, I buy it online. It's really bad. There's going to be people out there going to hate me. You have to read books on paper. You're not a real book reader. I don't give a shit. I like my Kindle because it has a dictionary and I can click on things and it can tell me what it means. And it's really easy to, bring around, and I can have 10 books on there. So for me, that when I start a book, I don't know if I'm going to finish it because I've started a lot of books in these days. I started reading a book by Neil Offerman, I think his name is. He's the actor from Parks and Rec. I really like the guy, and I didn't like the book. I was expecting to really like it because I really like him, but I found it really boring. So yeah, just don't get discouraged if you don't find the book you want straight away. Try and try and try again. You'll find a good book. Another really good book, Ender's Game. Read that recently. Really good. American Gods. Really good. Deep Work, again, really good. Yuval Noah, I can't remember the name of the guy. So basically the book I'm reading right now is a kind of a follow-up book to a book called Homo Deus, which is another really good book that I recommend. But anyway, you might not have the same taste I have. Like, my favorite book is probably 1984 because I like these kind of dystopian, weird future kind of books. Ender's Game is also pretty good because it's kind of sci-fi. Not sci-fantasy, which I've recently discovered the difference between sci-fantasy and sci-fi, and I don't really like sci-fantasy. I don't like Star Wars, for instance, but I do like sci-fi. Ender's Game, really good. Anyway, what's my point? My point is, don't be discouraged if you quit smoking and you have a lot of time on your hands. It's normal. Everyone goes through it. I went through it, and most people that quit smoking go through it, because your mind is programmed to fill its free time with smoking weed. Especially if you were like me, that's all I would do outside of work. I'd get out of work, get home, smoke weed, and sit in front of Netflix. I fucking hate Netflix now. I can't watch anything. I tried watching stuff, and I get bored after 20 minutes, and my mind is too active, and I can't just sit there and watch stuff. And it'll probably happen to you too. And you'll start hating yourself because you don't know what to do. Just take a deep breath. Remember that everything's good. You've made the right decision for yourself. You're doing yourself a favor. You should be proud of yourself. Go outside, go into a library, try and find a book that you like. Sit down with a book and get into it. Don't worry, stop worrying about the outside world. Stop worrying about what you have to achieve and what you have to do. If you've decided to quit smoking weed, you've already done the best part for yourself. And this goes for any addiction. If you decided to stop drinking, stop smoking, stop eating bad food, just get distracted. Pick a hobby. And for me, reading is one of those things that can apply to anyone. As long as you know how to read And I'm pretty sure that most of the population nowadays knows how to read. So as long as you know how to read, grab a book and start reading it. You're gonna find a book that you like sooner or later. Even if I don't believe those people that say I don't like reading. You're gonna find a book that you like to read sooner or later. It's gonna take you time. It's not gonna be as easy as another thing. Ask for recommendations from people, but don't be disappointed if you don't like the books that they recommend. I have a lot of good friends that have recommended me books over the years, and I'd try to read the books that they recommend, and I'd hate them, and then I'd think, okay, reading isn't for me, I'm not that kind of guy. That's not the case. You just don't like those books. I really like Dan Brown books, for instance. I really like Leonardo da Vinci, what's it called? The Da Vinci Code, Inferno, all of those books. I read them up. And I know some really avid readers that tell me that those aren't really proper books because they're not written in a good way and shit like that. I don't care. I like those books and I already read them happily. So, if you don't know what to do with yourself, go out and get a book. But remember, besides everything else, remember that you're a great person, that you made the right decision for yourself, that you're doing the right thing. You may not be happy right now. You may be in a dark place. That doesn't matter. Everyone has their bad days. Everyone has their no days. Everyone has their bad weeks and their bad months. Just take some time every now and again to give yourself a pat on the back and tell yourself, I'm doing the right thing. I'm the right person. I'm happy. I should be happy for what I'm doing to myself. The fact that you've decided to make this change in your life is a demonstration that you love yourself, and you should congratulate that, and you should be grateful for that. What are your thoughts on the topic? Leave a comment down below. If you like the video, leave a like. If you want to see more, subscribe. I'm still not used to saying this stuff. It should be a bit more rehearsed, but it isn't. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to lie, it took me a lot of effort to get me to do this video. I didn't really feel like doing it, but as long as there's people telling me that they find this useful, I'm going to keep making the videos. It's my responsibility toward you guys. I want to make sure you stay on top of things. Someone recently wrote that they went back to weed, and I really feel sorry about that. I hope you'll find the strength to go back to quitting, and that maybe these videos somehow help. Maybe they don't. But I like to think that they do. So people, stay strong. I love you all. Peace.